Hi, I'm Matt, and welcome to my latest tech news video. I'll be covering recent tech news in this video. These news videos will generally cover gaming related tech, but also tech and hardware in general. As always, I'm grateful for any feedback, so if you feel the need to do so, please go ahead. I will now get into some recent tech news. The first bit I'll be covering is some Windows 12 stuff, Windows 12 news. So it looks like there are new rumors regarding the release of Windows 12, as well as some new details on the operating system itself. It also looks like Windows 12 may be releasing towards the end of next year, so autumn 2024 or fall, around that sort of time next year. And some new features have been leaked, such as a floating taskbar and an apparent more heavy focus on AI in comparison, I guess, to Windows 11. It also seems there'll be a number of design changes as well, which is generally expected from a new Windows operating system. There are also reports that Windows 12 will make it easier to manage updates to the OS and make updating faster, along with apparently improving security. So if they pull those things off, that's a plus. If you look at the recent Steam hardware software survey, it details that Windows 10 is still the most popular operating system on Steam anyway, at just below 60% usage, total usage. Windows 11, meanwhile, is at around 36%, but it is slowly gaining ground and almost 1.8% increase since the last survey. And I have been using Windows 11 since I built my newest PC. That was at the end of sort of last October. But yeah, previously I had been using Windows 10 for a number of years. And I will say I'm kind of surprised that Microsoft are planning on releasing Windows 12 this soon. At least it seems a bit soon to me. But for comparison, it was around 6 years between the first version of Windows 10 and the release of Windows 11. If Microsoft do release Windows 12 next year, the time range between releases of 11 and 12 will have been approximately 3 years. Although when I had looked back, this is similar release cadence as going from Windows 7 to 8 and 8 to 10, I believe. So maybe it shouldn't be such a surprise to me. Because it's sort of how it used to be. They used to be like a few years apart from when I checked the dates. So yeah, maybe it's not so odd. Or maybe it just shouldn't come as a surprise. That's the first bit of news, just a quick bit on Windows 12. Next, we're moving on to some talk about Denuvo. So Denuvo is a fairly infamous company in the gaming space. This is generally because of their DRM, which is digital rights management software that they provide to game publishers and developers. So generally, this software is supposed to aid in reducing piracy of the game, which the Denuvo's DRM software has been inserted into. But a lot of gamers have issues with Denuvo and its software's implementation in these games, as it seems to cause game performance issues like stutters and similar frame reductions, and can break some mods as well, I've heard. Some game developers have also patched Denuvo out of their games in the past, usually after some time has gone by since the game's release. They'll be in there for the release to, I guess, help with piracy, but yeah, sometimes they do patch it out later on in the game's life cycle. Recently, Denuvo has claimed that its DRM software has no performance impact in the games where it is used. The COO of the company which actually owns Denuvo, and they're called Irdeto, I believe, has come out and said the Denuvo's DRM software does not affect game performance, as you might expect them to say. So the COO has said that the Denuvo team put dev time into ensuring that the software does not negatively affect games. Because of the general hatred for Denuvo, it looks like Irdeto is working on a way to give trusted media outlets the ability to test a game with and without Denuvo DRM implemented. Now, I do have my concerns, as this isn't going to be ready for a few months from what I read, I believe. But it also seems a bit too controlled of a test, um, or biased in favour of Denuvo anyway. But we will just have to wait and see. Hopefully they will also allow multiple outlets to test it, and more importantly, gaming YouTubers as well. So probably best to take his claim with a pinch of salt for now. And next, I'll get into some bit of AMD Starfield news again. So I mentioned in the last episode of the tech news, I believe, that AMD and Bethesda are entering a partnership with Starfield. So yeah, now there's a bit more news regarding this. But it looks like I'm guessing a digital copy of Starfield, like a game key, will be included with the purchase of eligible AMD hardware. You will either receive the standard edition of the game or the premium edition, depending on the AMD CPU or AMD Radeon GPU that you purchase. So go over a bit of the list of the stuff, the hardware from AMD that's eligible. So for the standard edition, you need one of the following. So Ryzen 7 7800X 3D, 7700X, 7700, Ryzen 5 7600X or 7600, that's CPU wise for the standard edition. GPU wise for the standard edition, you would need one of the following: RX 7600, 66, RX 6650 XT, 6600 XT, or 6600. The premium edition will require you purchase a higher end or more expensive CPU or GPU. So CPU wise for the premium edition, you need a Ryzen 9 7950X 3D, 7950X, 7900X 3D, 7900X, or 7900. Again, GPU purchase will require one of the following for the premium edition. So an RX 7900 XTX, 7900 XT, 6950 XT, 6900 XT, 6800 XT, 6800, 6750 XT, 6700 XT, or a 6700. They also list that new system builds featuring a combination of AMD CPUs and GPUs are also eligible for the offer, including mobile systems as well. Check the linked article, I'll put it in the description, or AMD's site if you're interested, because I'm not 100% sure I got all that right. I'm pretty sure I did, but maybe check it yourself as well. And also, it's been revealed that Starfield will have AMD's FSR 2.0 implemented on day one. Hopefully they also add DLSS and XeSS support too at some point. If you want more info on FSR, DLSS and XeSS, check my last new tech news episode, and as I covered it a fair bit in that video, including its relation to AMD and Starfield more recently. So the next bit is a bit of console news. So it looks like Microsoft, actually, interestingly, is expecting Sony to release mid-cycle console refreshes of the PS5 console. So this information was revealed by Microsoft. Yeah, it's just simply an expectation and not 100% true yet. A PS5 Slim variant was mentioned. I guess this would be the same performance as the base PS5, both base PS5 models, but in a smaller form factor maybe, but with a reduced thermal output, I would imagine. They also mentioned the possibility of there being a PS5 Pro model as well. The Pro model would likely have revised and more powerful hardware to enable higher resolutions, graphical settings, and frame rates, or maybe a combination of the three. Microsoft did also mention that they thought the slim model of PS5, if it was to release, would release with a price tag of about $399 USD. There are also rumors of a PS5 detachable Blu-ray drive. I guess this would be so the digital version could make use of optical or physical media instead of relying entirely on internet connection for game downloads and things. I do like the idea of that physical or Blu-ray drive, and maybe Microsoft will do something similar with the Xbox Series consoles. But yeah, all this isn't especially surprising news to me, as a number of consoles have had mid-cycle refreshes, including the PS1 and PS2, which both had slim variants. The Pro variants of consoles are more novel, as the first consoles, I believe anyway, which had more powerful Pro variants were the last gen consoles. These were the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro. I think in general this is a good thing. Better tech usually becomes available during a console's approximately 6 or 7 plus year life cycle, and this allows for increased fidelity for older and newer games. So you can get a more power efficient console at a cheaper price point with the slim version, or you can get the Pro version of the console of your choice at hopefully the same or similar price point with improved performance. And some rumours are pointing to more news or even release details later this year or sometime next year. I will update if more news does come out or if Sony ends up revealing anything. But I would be quite surprised if anything is definitively revealed this year, as it does seem a little soon in the life cycle of the current generation of consoles. But I mean, you never know. We'll just have to see on that one. And there's a quick bit of AMD CPU news next. So AMD is going to be releasing a Ryzen 3 5100 CPU and a Ryzen 5 7500F CPU. So the latter of those two was revealed on Twitter by a user showing the CPU being tested on Puget Bench. So it looks like the 5100 will be a 4-core 8-thread sort of budget CPU. I would imagine price of under $100. The 7500F looks like it could be a slightly lower performing 7600. Maybe it might be quite similar, but I have to wait for reviews on that. But the 7500F, it won't have an iGPU or integrated GPU, but it should still have 6 cores with hyper-threading, so 6 cores, 12 threads. And the F, like in Intel CPUs, at least this time round, seems to denote the lack of an iGPU, similar to the 12400F, which has no integrated graphics. We may see reviews for these in the future, and if we do, it'll more likely be the reviews of the 7500F, as it's probably going to be the more in-demand part, at least for gaming and gamers, I would imagine. Could be quite a good budget CPU, that one, for gaming, I would have thought. Pricing for that, I'm not really sure. I would imagine it would be around the £100 mark, maybe a bit more than that. Although, to be honest, given that 7600 prices at the moment, it might be a bit higher, maybe 150, around that sort of mark. Although I could be way off. So next on to some Intel CPU news. So it would seem that the next gen Intel i7-14700K has had performance metrics leaked. So the upcoming CPU, I believe will likely release later this year, and some details have possibly been revealed. It will most likely have 8 performance. I would hope it would have at least 8 performance cores, and I believe potentially 12 efficiency cores. This is a slight increase in efficiency cores over the 13700, which had 8. The clock speeds have also received a slight bump too, so from 5.4 GHz in the 13th gen CPU to 5.5 in the 14th gen CPU. If the results revealed are true, then the 14700K will have a minor 4% increase in single core performance. This is usually the metric which impacts game performance and other frequency sensitive applications. It may also have a 17% increase in multi-threaded performance. This will generally affect productivity workloads like video editing and production, along with other core count sensitive applications. The multi-threaded performance increases are quite good, but the single core performance is a bit low, I guess, on the lower end of recent CPU generation shifts. Though the potential i7-14700K tested might not be the finished retail version it was hinted at, so higher results may come when the CPU releases. yeah, I would imagine it'd be sort of late this year, or the end of October, November time. I would have thought, given previous release windows. And the next bit of news is some NVIDIA news, some more 4060 sort of series news. So it looks like NVIDIA will not be seeding any outlets, YouTube or otherwise, with review samples of the 4060 Ti 16 gig for its launch. Also, AIBs like MSI and Asus are apparently reluctant to provide card for reviews too. And NVIDIA is not producing a Founders Edition for the 16GB variant either. Usually graphics cards are sent to review outlets to test, but given the generally negative response, I think, to the RTX 4060 class cards, it looks like NVIDIA and AIBs are not doing so with the release of this 16GB variant of the 4060 Ti. We'll quote Hardware Unboxed on Twitter, where they posted some details regarding this situation, and they said in the post that every NVIDIA partner I've spoken to so far has said they won't be providing review samples, and they're not even sure when their model will be available. So it looks like potentially the AIBs aren't really going to be doing many models of the 4060 Ti 16 gig, and the ones that there are only a few AIBs, not all of them are going to do that, even a model of the 16GB variant. So yeah, this does not bode well for the 4060 Ti 16 gig, and I suspect it is also because there is likely no or very little uplift in performance for this card over the regular 8GB model, as it's got I'm pretty sure the exact same core config. It's just got the double amount of VRAM. So unless you run the card at high presets in probably 1440p or especially 4K, at these higher resolutions, the increased VRAM will likely help it gain an edge over the standard 8GB model. NVIDIA previously did say that the 4060 Ti, I believe the 4060 and the 4060 Ti cards were 1080p cards, which is somewhat odd to me given the price they are planning on charging and are already charging for the cards that are already out. Just seems a bit much for what they say is a 1080p card. You would hope a card at that price point would easily run most things. I would have hoped in 1080p, and even in 4040p it should do okay. I believe the 3060 Ti, so the previous gen 60 Ti class card, was advertised as being 1080p and 1440p, but for some reason, NVIDIA is saying the 4060s and 4060 Ti's are more 1080p class cards, which given the price is a bit just a bit odd to me. I do think it's likely that YouTube reviewers like Hardware Unboxed, Gamers Nexus, and Linus will get their hands on these and test them, hopefully fairly soon after launch. So even though I don't think it will be a good value product, I'm still interested in seeing how it performs. And the 16 gig VRAM does have its benefits, but I'm not sure whether those benefits will shine through in gaming at all, really. Unless you are playing at higher resolutions. But I guess productivity, 16 gigs is pretty good if you use it for Blender, especially. I think this card the 16 gig would be good for Blender, and stuff like that. But given the price tag, the price seems a bit too much for this card, because it's going to be around about $500, so that is quite quite a bit. So that would be I'm pretty sure the most expensive 60 class card by a fair bit, I would believe, MSRP wise anyway. But yeah, I'm still interested in seeing how it performs, so I'll likely do an update on the card's performance when, or even if, you never know, even if reviews are released. And I'll may as well just move straight into the new and upcoming tech. The only thing major that I can think of is the 4060 Ti, as I just spoke about. So apparently it looks like it will be releasing on the 18th of July. So in a few days. I will check it out on computer hardware retailers when it releases, just to check on pricing and details of the card. And yeah, it might. One good thing is it might come bundled with a game, which is positive thing at least. So yeah, I'll check on that, and hopefully it's not too bad of a deal. But given the price, even with a game, I think it's still going to be pretty poor value, I'd imagine. But I will wait for reviews before I say much more, just in case. You never know. It could be fine, but that's to me that seems a bit unlikely. Next bit, that's the main sort of new stuff covered with the tech. So there's a couple just tech deals I thought I'd cover as well. These are both the deals are storage related deals, and I thought they were fairly good deals that they're ongoing. So first one is Seagate Barracuda hard drive disks. So they're some fairly good prices at the moment on high capacity Seagate hard drives. And so that's the 4, 6, and 8 terabyte versions. They're all on fairly good deals currently. So the 8 and 6, 6 and 8 terabyte models are only about £15 apart currently. The 1 and 2 terabyte models aren't really on much of a discount though. So I think the 4 terabyte models around 70 or £80. The 6 terabyte is about 105, I think, and the 8 terabyte is about 120. So not too much of a difference between those two higher end ones. There are some similar prices on Western Digital hard drives as well, and Toshiba too, although I've not used a Toshiba drive before, but have used both Western Digital and Seagate in the past. Currently got a Seagate 2 terabyte as just for backing up stuff in my current PC. So I've been keeping an eye on sort of hard drives the past few months, I guess, as I am planning to increase my backup storage capacity in the future. This is just due to backing up YouTube videos and other things that I need to back up, like Blender projects and things like that. And a few different things. But the YouTube videos definitely take up the most space at the moment. Anyway, so yeah, if you're in need of more backup storage, then yeah, this might be the time to pick up one of those higher capacity drives potentially. But yeah, check them out for yourself. See what you think of the pricing wherever you are. The next one is another storage deal, and I did mention some of these in the last tech news videos, but the deals are actually still up. So there are a number of high-end PCIe 4.0 NVMe SSDs on pretty decent discounts right now. Notable deals are for the Western Digital SN850X SSD, the Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus and 4 Plus G SSDs, as well as the Seagate Firecuda 530 SSDs. The sites I checked were Amazon UK and US, as well as some local retailers. The SN850X 2 terabyte has a pretty good deal in the US at the moment. You can buy it directly from Western Digital, I believe it is, with a price under $100 as well. So that's pretty good for the 2 terabyte. And I did just check that is still available from Western Digital in the US. All of the drives I did mention, the 3 of them, or the 4, I guess, all have pretty good reviews from what I've seen, and they all should be Microsoft Direct Storage compatible, given how fast they are. All 4 models also say they are PS5 compatible if you wanted one for your PS5. If you are considering any of them, definitely check reviews as well before you make your decision, just to help you choose the right one. That's what I did before I went ahead and got my last last two Sabrent SSDs, I went through reviews and things of them online, like article reviews, and just made the decision that way. So if there aren't any videos, you can generally find them on like storage reviews on tech reviewers websites and things. So definitely check, have a sort of shop around and check before you do decide on anything. And that is all the tech coverage from me today. So if you're interested, you can also check out my gaming news video, which was published yesterday, or also my tech news that was published last week as well, and game news last week. But as always, feedback is appreciated, so go ahead and like or dislike and leave a comment. If you enjoy my videos and commentary, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I should be back again soon.